Well, it's been a lovely afternoon. I've just grabbed a quick session waggler fishing, and I started off catching some roach, some quite nice roach up to about 10 or 12 ounce, and I've just had 2 or 3 bream, which I really wasn't expecting. I'm just loose feeding maggots. I haven't fed any ground bait, and yeah, I was getting some quite regular roach sport, and then some bream turned up. It's actually been quite a windy afternoon, and there's quite a strong tow on the lake, but I'm fishing over depth. It's about 6 foot, and I'm probably fishing about, I don't know, 8 inches over depth. And I started off, I'm sort of feeding as far as I can with the catapult with maggots, and I'm casting past my feed and then sinking the line to bring it back into where I'm feeding. I'm needing to sink the line because of the wind obviously affecting the surface of the water, and it would start to move my float unnaturally. But I'm using our Edge Tackle 4-pound sinking mono, which is a really good reliable sinking line. So basically all the line now between my float and the tip, my rod tip, is sunk, and the float's holding quite nicely. Just as I say, moving the tow is actually from right to left, so it's going against the wind, and my float's holding out there really nicely. I'm actually fishing with a straight peacock waggler now. I started off fishing with an insert waggler, which was working well, but I just found with the tow it was kept dragging under. So with this slightly thicker peacock waggler, it's holding in position really nicely. Let's see if we get a bite. So the rod I'm using is a Cadence CR10 13 foot number 2, and I paired it up with a CS10 3000 reel. And what I'm doing is, now I'm catching, I'm actually bringing my float this side of the feed and this side of where I think the main shoal of fish is. So hopefully when I hook a fish, I can kind of guide it away from the main shoal without disturbing it too much. But it's a great thing about fishing a waggler like this. I'm obviously, because the fact that the loose feed is quite spread out. I think that's another bream. When you are catching fish like this, it's quite good, because I think you could probably feed in too tight an area. So when I'm fishing like this, I can fish around the general area and hopefully keep the fish coming. Yeah, fighting well, and I'm having to keep my rod down because it's obviously not very deep here, just to keep the fish from coming up on the top, and hopefully getting them within netting range and getting them. This is a fantastic bream, but I've actually had some bigger ones. There we go, nice one. I'll just hold him up for you. Beautiful. Got to be 2 pound at least. So I think I'll just show you the rig that I'm using. Really simple rig. I've got 3 number 8 shot, just spread out. Hook length around about, it's just over a foot, I should think, about 30 centimeters to my first number 8 above the hook length, and I've got 2 more number 8s, and then I've got the waggler. So I told you it was a straight waggler. I've got 2 of the Drennan waggler weights either side of my float adapter, and I've trapped that with our edge tackle float stops, which work really well. So I can move this, I can move the whole lot, I can move the Waggler weights and the line stops without damaging the line at all. Really neat, doesn't tend to tangle too much. Obviously the float adapter is great because I can change the float, change the colour of the float, or like I've done from an insert Waggler to a straight Waggler. So let's get back out again. The hooks are size 16 Kamasan B560 and the hook length is 012. I've actually stepped up to 012 from 010. Edge pure fluorocarbon. It's a lovely time of the year, isn't it, when we start to get spring. Feels like it's been a really long winter and it's lovely to get some sun. And amazing that the fish are feeding so well. I really was expecting just to catch a few roach. I don't think you'll pick up the float on the video, but I've got it. I haven't got it dotted right down, purely because of the fact that I'm fishing slightly over depth, and the tow's quite strong. So I don't know. I've probably got about a centimetre of float showing, and the bites are quite positive, really. So now I'm catching these bream, I'm going to leave my float out a bit longer, and there we go. There's another one. Wow, this is amazing. They're fighting really well. I'm not sure, this one might be a hybrid. It's doesn't want to give up, that's for sure. I think it's just a bream, but a really fit one. There we go, fantastic. Another beauty. I suppose a disadvantage of using Waggler weights is you've got to thread them on the line and then obviously trap them with the float stops. And I think, you know, certainly in a match that would be a little bit time consuming. And what I've done, I'll just show you, is I've set up some pre-tied kind of setups. So I've got different sizes, 4BB, 2AA, 4AA, and I've got 2 or 3 in each one. And what I've done is I've sort of mounted the Waggler weights onto a float adapter. I don't know if you can see that. And then it's mounted on a piece of line, I think that's 018 line. I've got a loop on one end. So say I want to change to a heavier float or maybe I'll get a tangle or whatever and I want to change, or at the start of a session, all I need to do is tie my main line onto that loop with half a blood knot and then slide the float stops and the Waggler weights over that knot onto the main line, and I'm basically saving a lot of time and hassle. So that's something that's really helped my fishing in this last sort of year or so, since I've changed to using Waggler weights on a lot of my Waggler rigs.